It's time for your daily LSU baseball update with Musso at the box. Now, Matt Musso.
Off and running. Welcome in another edition of Musso at the box. Fired up. Glad to have you along for the ride. We're presented by Gotlit Light Installers. Be sure to smash the like button. Get subscribed, please, if you have not already, on the YouTube channel and on your favorite podcast app. That is greatly appreciated. Pretty fired up for today's show. No midweek game, obviously, for the Tigers as they get set to face South Carolina to close out the regular season, of course, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So what I thought we could do today is another listener Q&A. Remember, this will be our third one of the season. We normally like to do one preseason. We like to do one at the beginning of SEC play and then kind of at the end of the regular season. So figured we just do our at the end of the regular season one here today since we have the free time in the midweek. So I put out the call for questions on Twitter earlier, and boy, y'all flooded with responses. Did not disappoint, and a very wide-ranging questions. Some to deal with pitching, some that deal with the postseason, some that deal with the offseason, some that are just miscellaneous baseball questions as well. You know I love them all, so keep them coming. That's what we will obviously get into here today, and fired up to go through all of them. So again, as I said, smash the like button. Please get subscribed, follow, share the podcast. That's greatly appreciated. And let's just go ahead and kind of dive right into it right here. So there were, as I know I like to normally do, some questions are repeated, so we'll group those together and kind of lead with them. One of them that was repeated was the game number one starter for USC. I understand the question. You're looking forward to the SEC tournament. You want to set your pitching up for that potentially. Cade Anderson had the wrist injury scare. I'm not changing it, and I don't believe LSU will either. For me, game one against USC, I'm starting Cade Anderson. I understand the short rest conversation. We can get into that. But if you're just looking injury-wise with this, Jay Johnson could not have sounded more confident after that game that Cade Anderson is fine. I talked about it at postgame when they showed him in the dugout. You could see on his arm a cotton ball and a Band-Aid. I mean, indicating some type of needlework, most likely an IV. That kind of just made even more sense when Jay said it was a cramp. Jay even mentioned when he threw the warm-up pitches, he started to feel better because he saw him back up to 92 twice. They feel really good about where Cade Anderson is there. Will they obviously be careful with him and keep a close eye? Yes, 100%. But if there's one thing I really trust this coaching staff with when it comes to their arms, is the care that they've taken of them. You've seen them bring back now 3 arms from Tommy John surgery and be very meticulous and plan it out, and it's worked out perfectly for Hurd, for Jump, and for Chase Shores. Although I should say Hurd was not Tommy John. That was a back injury. But you understand my premise there. They will be fully – and Anderson, hell, they brought Anderson back from Tommy John surgery, actually, coming out of high school. So they will be extremely careful. They will watch him. They will monitor him. But if they feel like he is good to go, that's who they're going to start. LSU has not pitched off very much at all under Jay Johnson. I remember they did it a year ago at Arkansas, trying to get the win that they could in that series. So they're going to start Cade Anderson, provided he gets through the week and they still feel great about it. If there was some setback, and they wouldn't, I would look for potentially like Connor Ware to get that opportunity there in place of Anderson. But he's going to pitch next weekend, so just keep him going. And in terms of the short rest, I'm well aware of that. Hell, I think I was one of the first ones to point that out heading into this weekend against Arkansas. And you know what? He was really good. I mean, Cade Anderson against there was a few things there, but Anderson versus Arkansas got you 5 2/3. He gave up a couple of the homers, which that kind of trended, but he struck out 10. So, I mean, he was pretty sharp. I think he took a good step, gave up 3 earned runs. I think he took a good step in kind of showing that he can do it short rest for LSU. So he kept LSU in the game. You know, they were down when he left, but not so far down that it, was a really difficult comeback as it was in the previous. So I go Anderson there 100%. I trust him to take good care. They seem really confident that he's okay. So that, for me, that's a good thing. Let's see. this is another one. There were a few with William Schmidt. A lot of them dealing with his struggles in conference play. I mean, one guy asked, Ryan asked, you've mentioned a few times, Schmidt looks different. Do you think he's more comfortable as a starter? That realm, there was people asking, is the moment too big? Why is Schmidt struggling to throw strikes in SEC? That came from Billy. Let's group the Schmidt combo here all into one. Is William Schmidt, trying to talk too fast, more comfortable as a starter? Maybe, but every top pitcher that comes to LSU is, because they were all starters in high school. This is going to be the first time any of them are pitching out of the bullpen. You've seen certain guys have plenty of success with that. What I think it is for William Schmidt is confidence. That's it. Like, I really think that. William Schmidt, when he is on the mound in the midweek, is confident. He knows he is better than the opponent. He can go out there, relax. He is not thinking as much. He is trusting his stuff. And I emphasize the trusting of the stuff, because he has no worry about getting the breaking ball over or whatnot. When he comes in a conference game, I think he is very much aware that he is in there in an SEC game and has to be really fine. These are the best hitters that he's facing and all of that. And he's trying too hard to be too fine. And when you do that, when you're not trusting your stuff, when you don't just go out there and pitch, when you're not confident, you end up with a line in SEC play like William Schmidt has. And that line is 2 innings of work, 11 walks, 1 strikeout, and 6 earned runs. You compare that to the rest of his stuff this season, the rest of his outings, and it's a complete outlier. Like, William Schmidt on the year has walked 20 guys. 11 of those are in SEC play. So I really, look, I'm not in the building every day with the kid. I'm obviously not him. I'm not in his mind. But when I see him have that type of success in the midweek, whether it's starting or bullpen, remember, he came out of the bullpen against Nichols and dominated. So again, no, I don't think it's a starter bullpen conversation with him. I think it is a confidence and trust your stuff deal. And right now, he just doesn't trust his stuff enough in the SEC to go out there and get the job done. You hope that starts to right, and correct itself like it did with Cade Anderson starting really in the SEC tournament is where you saw that. And then I'll be very interested to see if they can get him action in a regional or super regional, where maybe you're not facing an SEC team, but it's still a high leverage spot, to see if he goes out there and is able to really trust his stuff. But when you get to that point in the season, first and foremost, you have to win. And that's what you're going to be after doing. That can answer another question. Let me see if I can find it. Somebody asked if Jay would start Schmidt against the 4 seed in a regional potentially. I'm sorry, I can't find the question, so I can't give credit. The short answer there is no. Jay Johnson's going to throw Cade Anderson against the 4 seed, because Jay Johnson has never pitched off in a regional in his time at LSU, and very rarely in his time at Arizona. It's just what he does. He keeps his guys on normal rest. He threw Paul Skeens against a 19-win Tulane team. He's going to pitch in order, and he's going to throw Cade Anderson against the 4, and then have Anthony Einson go for the marble game. Somebody else asked something similar to that. It was Stud Muffin. Regional rotation. Do you throw Anderson against the 4 or Einson? He's going to throw Anderson. Now, what would I do? I would hold Anderson for the marble game, and then throw Einson in the regional final. That's just what I would do. That's not what Jay Johnson's going to do. I would always pitch off against the 4 seed, because they're the 4 seed. You're the 1 seed. You should beat them. They're the 4 seed for a reason, especially if you're a top 8. But he's going to play. He's going to keep his normal rest. Same deal we just had in the conversation about pitching off against South Carolina. It doesn't really serve you any benefit, because Anderson's going to pitch in that weekend. And the other thing with that is, don't give them any hope. don't take the risk of losing game number 1 in that series and giving a bad baseball team. And South Carolina is a bad baseball team. And when I say that, I mean like fundamentally, they are not good. Don't give that team any hope that they can hang with you in the weekend. Throw your horse. And you're not, and Ianson's already on short rest, so you're not going to move him up another day. Just keep it in order keep it in order for South Carolina, keep it in order for the SEC tournament. And again, if the tournament started today, you'd play on Friday. With the stupid format changes they've done to the SEC tournament this year, they split up the double byes. So seeds 1 and 4 play Thursday on the double bye. Seeds 2 and 3 play Friday. So right now you're the 3. And if that's the case, Anderson would be on an extra day's rest in the SEC tournament. If you're the 4 or the 1, Anderson's going to be on the same rest. So it all works itself out there. So that's Schmidt. That's your rotation. That's, pitching off and things of that nature. Let's see. I want to save some of the postseason stuff to kind of group it together. I'm not quite ready. There was another one that I was looking for. Yeah, here we go. Because this one I can answer. These two I can answer pretty quick, and then we'll get into a couple more that I really want to kind of like expound on. Jesse asked, if you take 2 out of 3 against South Carolina, you a top 8 seed lock? Yes. Short answer, yes. It's the conversation we've had for the better part of a month now. If LSU gets to 19, you're a lock. There have been the last 4 years, the SEC has had at least one team with 19 wins be a top 8. In some cases, you've had multiple. The only year you haven't recently was 2019, and that's because there were no 19 win teams in the league. Everyone was at 20 wins or more. LSU was the 5th place team at 17. So if you get to 19, you are a lock. You're at 17 right now. 2 wins would get you there with your metrics. Lock 100%. The answer to that, Jesse, is yes. Batto, best lineup and pinch hitter. Your best lineup is the one that you saw the majority of this weekend, specifically on Sunday. Curiel, Jones, Dickinson at the top. Have Fry in there at the DH. Have Brown in there. And in right field. Braswell at third. Milam. And Hernandez. That is your best. Now, Cade Arambeety's starting to play really well, and I love seeing him hit the baseball against Arkansas. That 3-hit day is impressive. So those are kind of interchangeable, and just judging on kind of some comments Jay Johnson has made, you're going to continue to see him catch Anthony Ianson in that middle game. They also like giving Hernandez that rest, and they think that has actually led to him improving offensively here as of late, kind of getting back to the form he was earlier in conference play. So that's your best lineup, the one you saw Sunday. Best pinch hitter, if Josh Pearson's not in the line, I love Pearson in a pinch hit role. I like Larson in a pinch hit role as well. But if I had to, you're gonna ask me for the best, it's Josh Pearson. Josh Pearson is your best pinch hitter, I think. Okay, those were ones I could really kind of blow through. There was another one. Kyle Trammell, does Jared Jones have any chance of returning next year? No, he would lose his leverage. There's no point. You got him back for an extra year. I thought he was going to leave after his sophomore year. You got him back. He's hit for average. That's going to improve his draft stock a little, not much. But no, there's no sense in him returning because he can do nothing else to improve his draft stock, and he would lose his leverage. So no. Kyle also asked ideal. Oh no, that's regional super regional matchup. We'll talk about that later. Zach, does Jay have to sit out a game 1 because of ejection? No, he does not. Okay, I think I can get into some of the ones that are going to take a little bit longer to discuss here. First, let me remind you about Gotlit Light Installers, gotlitlights.com. Permanent outdoor landscape lighting available, front yard or backyard, flower beds, patio, pool area, trees, does not matter. It's your dream. They make it a reality. Custom design every single time, and it's perfect every single time. And it's not just the installation. Like, we tell you that all the time. Anybody can come install lights at your home, business, your property. Got Lit Lights wants it to be so much more than that. They're into the relationship building business with you, want you to be a customer for life. That's why it's not just the install, it's the maintenance that they can provide on the lights. It's the tear down and storage that they can provide on the lights that you see with the Christmas light service, or the temporary outdoor lighting for your private events, weddings, graduation parties, anniversaries. Got Lit Light Installers, gotlitlights.com. You go there, you get your quote, and then it's simple. You give Derek and his team your design, and they turn it into a reality and make your dream a reality. It's Got Lit Light Installers, gotlitlights.com. Tell them you heard it right here on Musso at the Box. Okay. Some offense that I want to get into here. Let's see. Where did it go? I had it. And now I've lost it. Son of a bitch. Oops, sorry. Okay, here we go. Joe B. Says he feels like Stanfield should be leading off. What are your thoughts? Could be a good weekend to try it out. There was another question in here as well about the top of the order, and I cannot find it. But Joe, I will tell you as plainly as I can, I flat out disagree with you. Derek Curiel should be the leadoff hitter for this team. I understand the numbers are dipping a little bit from an average standpoint. The strikeouts are up. Derek Curiel has reached base in 49 out of your 52 games. There have been 3 games. And by the way, he's reached in the last 4. Even with some of the strikeouts and whatnot, he's getting on base. He is impacting every game still at the top of your lineup. And what I will also point out is the record that we have talked about with this as the top of your lineup. Curiel, Jones, Dickinson. You've been your best. You're 13-5 in the SEC with that as the top of your lineup. And you are 26-5 overall on the season. Curiel is still impacting every game. And it's not just the first inning. Like, it's not about the first inning. It's about that next trip through the lineup. And that's where I love having Stanfield in the 9-hole, because Stanfield has been getting on base in his first at bat a lot, which you would say, okay, yeah, put him in the order at the leadoff spot. But what that does, having him at the 9-hole when he gets on base in his first at bat, then you flip the lineup for Curiel in the leadoff spot, for Jones, for Dickinson, and it's their second time seeing a pitcher, and that has resulted in a lot of runs for this LSU team. Normally, that's in the third inning, like normally, but sometimes it's in the second. LSU has scored 42 runs in the second, 41 runs in the third, largely because of that. So it's not just Curiel leading off the game with success, and also he could do a little bit more in that leadoff spot. He can hit the home run and things of that nature. So there's a lot of reasons why that works, why I would keep it the same. First and foremost, it's even with the higher strikeout number, he is still impacting every game, and he's still getting on base in damn near every game. So I want Curiel there in the leadoff spot. I'm not going to argue with the wins, and I'm not going to argue with his ability to get on base. So I absolutely want that to still be the way things go there with LSU. I think it's when they're at their best, and I think it's when the lineup is at its best, because I think everyone's in their most comfortable spot with that deal. Okay, let's see. That was one of the offensive ones that I wanted to address. Let's get to a couple more here. I was trying to find one. I don't know where it went. Okay, we did the Tyler asked, do you think this team gets to 100 homers by the season end? I don't. No, I do not. I've been pretty consistent with that. I think this team settles in somewhere around 90, 95-ish home runs. You're going to get into some bigger parks in Hoover, potentially in Omaha. If you have a huge weekend at South Carolina and their high school field, that's like 380, 385 to center, which is absurd, then maybe. But no, I'll be consistent. I think they settle in somewhere 90, 95, 96-ish on the year there. The shy LSU sports fan in Texas, what happened to Derek and Bear's amazing plate discipline? Is there anyone over the past 3 seasons that showed it starting great and it returning to the honestly, I'm going to tell you, I think it is a combination of two things. When LSU's offense wasn't going great, when Bear was not going great, I think he was pressing a little bit. With Curiel and now with Jones up to this point in the season, I think LSU's just seen the best pitching of the year that they have the last 3 weeks. I know that's not what anybody wants to hear because, darn it, you're LSU and you should hit everybody's best pitcher and you should score 13 runs per game. And that's just not how things work. Like that's just not real life in baseball. The other team is good too. And I think that honestly has been, what it is first and foremost. But I do think there was an element to Jarrett Jones pressing when he wasn't, like when he was in that like 2 for 24 stretch or whatever, he was pressing because, man, he had such great success. And I think he got out of character a little bit there. I've seen him be be much more in character as of late. And you're just facing Liam Doyle and Zach Root and Marcus Phillips, right? I mean, you're facing and Christian Fouch coming out of the bullpen on a Sunday for Arkansas throwing 100. Like you're facing that, and that's tough. Jarrett Jones and Derek Curiel still leads this team in walks. Like Derek Curiel has walked 40 times. Jarrett Jones is still second on the team with 33 walks. So, I mean, it's still there. It's just a little bit more spread out now. So it feels so it feels like it's not nearly at the clip that it was. But I mean, they're still doing good things. In that spot. I liked this question from Tyler as well. Game 3 to move on in postseason. Shores and Evans both look better in the pen. If both available, you more comfortable starting Evans or Shores? I'm going to say Evans because while it's a smaller sample size of him starting, that's precisely why. It's a smaller sample size of Evans starting. It's a larger sample size of Evans being reliable and dominant over the course of the season. It's a larger sample size of Shores starting, but it's a smaller sample of him pitching well and being reliable. So I will go with Case and Evans there, but both of them, I mean, I think you'd feel pretty good about it, but I will go with Evans because of the larger sample size of success over the course of the year. Smaller sample size of starting. And I know the last couple of outings have been shaky, but I do like, I like the larger sample size of dominance. And there's not really an experience factor there because Chase Shores has not pitched in a postseason game in his career at LSU, and neither has Case and Evans. So you're kind of, in the same boat there with both guys. So I'll go Evans, but I think both could give you what you need in that moment. And look, we might get our game 3 of a regional. You've burned Ianson and Anderson both. It's going to be one of those guys probably getting that opportunity. So, there was another question about Shores and darn it. I wanted to do that question from Nathan. And there's a question about Devin Sheeran. Where? Here it is. Drewski. Not that Drewski. Did Shores show enough this weekend to possibly nudge his way back into the starting rotation? Let Evans continue to do what he's done best all year out of the pen. No. And it's similar to that question we just had from Tyler about game 3 in a postseason. I'm not moving Shores right now because he's finally having success. I'm going to let him go. Chase Shores, his success as a freshman largely came out of the bullpen before he got hurt. It's happening again now. Maybe he's just a bullpen pitcher at this point in his career. That's not to say when he gets drafted in July and he gets into a major league organization, they can't help finish developing him and he becomes a starting pitcher. But I'm leaving him in that spot where he's best at right now. Because that also, you've wanted someone to emerge there. And he kind of has, which is a good thing. So I don't want to disrupt that. I want you to continue doing it the way that you have. Anderson, Ianson, TBA. And depending on if you use Evans or Shores, whichever one's available, you start them. But you do not put one of them just into the rotation, and leave it. Especially Shores right now because he's having this success. So that's what I would tell you there. Okay. Where's Nathan's question about ranking the bullpen? I can do this fairly quickly because we've had this conversation a lot. Rank LSU's bullpen pitchers either by tiers or in order, including Evans and Shores, as they've both come out of the bullpen this season. Okay. Your top tier bullpen, Zach Cowan. Easy. No question. I would put Case and Evans in that realm as well. Evans, Cowens, that is your top tier. No questions asked. No more. After that is where you get to Chase Shores because of what he's done as of late. Again, 4 2/3, 2 earned, 4 punchouts, 1 walk against Arkansas over 2 outings. That's awesome. And he pitched really well against Texas A&M as well. He's moved himself up into that tier. I would put Jaden Newt into that tier as well. Jaden Newt has thrown 16 outings now, 22 1/3 innings. The walk number is well in check. The velo is back. The stuff looks crisp. And in limited sample in the SEC as a sub-2 ERA. I would absolutely, and you've seen him in a leverage spot and a not so leverage spot in the league as well. I would have him in that tier also. I would also have Cooper Williams and DJ Primo and Connor Ware. Your 3 lefties, I would have them in that tier as well. You need those guys to be lefty specialists. I thought Cooper Williams pitched really well on Sunday against Arkansas. He got squeezed brutally by the umpire, and that led to Jay Johnson's ejection. He would have been out of that inning without a run scoring, if that wasn't the case. So, and those guys, they've been really good the last 3 weeks in totality in their lefty spots. So they've really started to emerge. I would put them there. After that, you get into your next tier. I'd have Jacob Myers in that tier, kind of by himself. Maybe Connor Binge there as well. Although again, it's been 3 weeks since you've seen Connor Binge. So I think the writing's pretty much on the wall there. And that's really it. I mean, those are your guys that you trust right now. So that's where I'm at there. I know I kind of blew through that pretty fast, but that conversation has evolved. So we've had it a lot. So I would go again, Cowan, Evans, your top tier. After that, a grouping of Shores, Newt, and your 3 lefties. And then Myers, Binge, kind of in there. And really Myers probably deserves to be more in that tier with Shores, Newt, and the 3 lefties. So you've pared it down. Like you've continued to pare it down. Oh, I forgot Maverick Rizzi. Actually, I'll put Rizzi and Myers in that same tier together. I love the potential from Maverick Rizzi. He's got to get the walks in check. That leads me into this other question that I forgot about and I really, really wanted to answer and spend a lot of time on. And now we're late into this show and I'm getting to it. So my apologies. Stephen Miller asks, bigger concern for me as a whole, the bats or the bullpen? For me, it's the bats. LSU's bullpen has been good enough this year. Have you been as consistent as you want? No, not with everybody. Have you had enough strikes from everybody? No. But what you have seen routinely throughout this year is at least one guy in a given game has stepped up and stabilized it. The most recent and best example I can give you of that is Saturday night with Jaden Newt. And I think that is sustainable. The other reason I say the bats is because if you're having struggles in the bullpen, the bats can make up for that if they're going good. Like, you can make up for so much more with offense from your bullpen. I mean, I know people are going to take this the wrong way when I invoke the 2023 team, but that bullpen struggled for a large majority of that season, and it didn't matter because you could just outscore everybody. This offense is not going to be that offense, and I'm well aware of that. But you have the you have the ability to overcome some of it when the offense is going at its clip. So the bats for me, because even with some of your struggles in the bullpen, I mean, they've helped carry you and keep you in games as of late. So for me, it's the bats, Steven, for me. And I thought you saw a lot of really good things this weekend. LSU got the runner from third and less than 2 outs home 60% of the time. You were 50% over the course of 3 games in advancement opportunities. You scored 22 runs. You hit 291. Like, you did a lot of really good things over the course of the weekend, not just in that second game. So it's going to be encouraging. That is encouraging. It's going to be interesting to see how they carry that over. I'm glad I remembered to answer that question. Okay. A couple more here that we just kind of got to blow and go through because we're going long. Like I said, y'all flooded. This one was interesting. Where is it? Darn it. Devin Sheeran. Guy asks, probably got this question. Do we any more information on Devin Sheeran? Will you see him in any capacity this weekend? You're not. I don't think you're going to see Devin Sheeran the rest of the year. It's LSU. That goes back to a question we kind of answered earlier. They have pared down the arms they feel can help them win right now. And that's what this is about right now. It is about helping your team win right now. Devin Sheeran has not pitched all year. He did not pitch in the fall. He did not pitch in the preseason. Like, this injury happened in the summer. That's too big of a risk when you are in the winning business right now. Like, you have to go win 2 out of 3 this weekend. You cannot jeopardize that by wanting to get a guy out on the mound just to get him out there on the mound. And because it's been such a long layoff from pitching, I don't think you can really get much out of him realistically. So I thought your opportunity to see him was against Grambling. You didn't play that game. I think that ship has sailed. He is throwing simulated games, all of that. They are comfortable with where the recovery has gone, and he should be a force for you next season. But you just can't jeopardize what you're playing for right now just to get a guy on the mound. So I think that ship has sailed for this season. All right, some of the postseason stuff here. My name is Jeff. How active will Jay be in the portal this offseason, and what positions will he target? Jeff, they got postseason and regular season to finish, my man. But I can't give you a great answer on that because I want to see how the draft plays out and who enters the portal for LSU and whatnot. I can tell you this. They will be extremely active. And one of the spots that I have zeroed in on is third base and first base. Obviously, look, because Ryan Costello is a good freshman at first base that they like a lot. We'll see there. I mean, could Eddie Yaman play that position for you potentially? Maybe. But you're going to have to replace Jared Jones, and that's also a lot of production that you're going to have to replace. So portal makes a lot of sense there. Third base, same kind of deal. I mean, if John Pearson can get into shape, get a little bit quicker over there, that's certainly an option for you. And then the other is pitching. Like, they're going to go get pitchers, starters, and everything else because they do that every year. And look, they will be very active because Jay always is very active in the portal. So you're going to see them kind of attack every position probably. I mean, don't be surprised if they bring in an outfielder or two, a couple infielders, maybe even up the middle to replace Danny Dickinson. So they'll be plenty active and there'll be more. I can give you a much better answer to that after the season ends. And we actually have a better hold on the roster, and we'll know what the roster limit will be with the house settlement and all of those things. Nathan, biggest disappointment, pleasant surprise from the beginning of the season to now. Biggest disappointment is the offense going into a shell, going into a hole. I mean, that I did not see that coming at all. They were awesome all through non-conference and obviously in the beginning of SEC play, and it all changed in that Auburn series. Let's hope they've shown some signs here as of late. Let's hope they're turning the corner there. Biggest and or most pleasant surprise is Jaden Newt. Even though we talked about him preseason as a guy who could really be an X factor for you if it all came together, that's a pleasant surprise. I don't think that's a guy that many, in the grand scheme of things, are expecting much out of this season, and he's been really good. So I'll go with that. We've kind of already talked about regional rotation, things of that nature. I see a couple people asking about like 2 seeds that could hurt LSU and, regional, super regional matchup. I mean, look, y'all, you're going to have so many hosts from the SEC. It's likely that LSU is going to match up probably against an SEC team in a super regional. I don't love that. But that's likely what you're going to see. And I mean, 2 seeds that could hurt you. I'd be aware of somebody like an NC State out of the ACC, a Miami potentially out of the ACC. They're playing much better baseball right now. I'm not really threatened by anybody out of the Big 12 or the Big 10. Honestly, to be honest with you, I would really point to teams like Miami, like NC State out of the ACC, who probably aren't going to host, but are going to be right on that hosting bubble. Particularly Arizona. Arizona would be one that's interesting. I think they've been knocked off the hosting line as of now. So that would be an interesting one. Any team that's like a fringe host like that would certainly be something to watch. Mid-major, LSU should handle any mid-major, but somebody maybe like UTSA, who's played really, really good baseball right now as a 2, but likely, I mean, look, LSU with Anthony Einstein going in game 2 of a regional, they should handle the 2 seed. I shouldn't say, depending on who it is, you should handle them, but you should have an advantage in that game with your number 2, who's basically a number 1 going. I think I've gotten to all of the LSU guy. Why have they completely gone away from Chandler Dorsey? He just didn't figure into the plans, man. It's that simple. I mean, it took them 2-3 weeks to get him on the mound at first, and that was not it wasn't in a leverage spot. I mean, LSU was up big. I don't know if that one panned out yet the way they wanted it to. He has another year of eligibility. He'll stay in the system, hopefully, and you'll develop him, and that would be awesome, and you could have him going forward. Also, he says, do you expect Fry to sign with a pro team? He has a decision to make. I can't make that decision for him. I mean, it would not surprise me either way. Ethan Fry's had an awesome year. I think it could benefit him coming back to show for a complete season that he's really made the change necessary to hit right-handed pitching at a higher clip. But he's got a decision. That's going to be one of the ones we watch the closest, because that's power that could return to your lineup and a veteran presence that could return to your lineup and a great team guy. Selfishly, I'd love Ethan Fry to be back next year, but, we'll see. Okay, I think I got all of them except for this last one that I saved for the end on purpose. It was sent in by Bella. Don't hate me, Bella, that I saved it for the end. But I also needed time to think about it, and not really. But I want to not really think about it. I know the moments, but I wanted to be able to kind of go through it. And it was a fun way to kind of punctuate the show. So Bella asked, not exactly related to the team, but you mentioned after the Tennessee series, the Jones walk-off is one of your top 10 moments you've been able to experience in both the old and new box. What are some of the others' top moments? Okay. Old box. I'll go way back here for you a little bit. 2003 regional against UNC Wilmington, John Zarang's walk-off homer to win the regional. That was awesome. That's the first walk-off home run I remember, actually can remember seeing in person. So that's really special. That was awesome. I was also a big John Zarang guy, SEC player of the year. He was awesome. In that same regional, the UNC Wilmington Tulane game, where LSU fans packed out the box to cheer against Tulane at the height of that rivalry. That was awesome. The very next year in the Super Regional against Texas A&M, Lane Mestepe, complete game shutout. LSU and A&M were scoreless through 8. LSU scored 4 in the top half of the 9th, and then Mestepe slammed the door. 108 pitches, I think it was, and complete game shutout to send LSU to Omaha. That was awesome. Continuing with the old box, the UC Irvine Super Regional, specifically game 2, the comeback that started in the 8th. LSU scored, let's see, I think it was 8 or 9 runs. And I mean, the box was just electric. Like, they were left for dead at that point, and they ended up winning that game. And what was funny, the reliever, they got a lot of it off of Pettis. He ended up blowing a lead against LSU in the 2010 UCLA Regional as well. But that was a vibe. I mean, that was the last weekend of the old box. You knew it. And they had beaten you in game 1 with the stupid hidden ball trick and ended the 23-game winning streak. And they have you dead to rights in game 2. And like LSU so many times that year, they got off the mat. And to do it in that stadium one more time, that was awesome. It's some of the loudest I ever heard the old box. And then the next night, when you beat them 21-7, and just, onslaught of the homers. You had 3 homers in a row in the first inning. Again, the place was electric, knowing it was the night to close it out. And you sent LSU off to Omaha for the first time since 2004. It's the first time in 4 years. And that's how you closed out the old box. I mean, that was awesome. Those are the ones that really come to mind in the old box. In the new box, Aaron Nola versus John Gray. That's the best baseball game I've ever witnessed in person. That was electric. You had, Connor Hale and Tyler Moore with the fireworks and late in that game to win it. Chris Shambro walk-off homer against ULL in game 1 of that Super Regional in 2015. That was awesome. Skeens Dolander obviously was fantastic in 2023. I don't even know if I've reached 10 yet. That was awesome to see there. In 2009, LSU faced Tulane, and they run ruled them, and Blake Dean and Ryan Schimpf hit back-to-back homers in the same inning twice. That was really cool. Back to Skeens Dolander, though. Also, you had Jordan Thompson's game winner in that one late in the game, the clutch single that he hit to take the lead against Tennessee. I mean, that was awesome. Obviously, the Tennessee game this season with Jared Jones. There's been a lot. I've been very fortunate to see a lot of awesome moments in both the old stadium and the new stadium, and those are the ones that really come to mind. I probably left out plenty. But those are the ones that really, really come to mind. The Texas series was awesome. And, under Maneri, that was really cool. The Cal State Fullerton series the year before that was awesome. Rally Possum. The Rally Possum was just wild on all levels. There's a lot. There's a good question. I don't normally wax poetic, but I like to do it, especially about LSU baseball. So those are the ones. I probably gave you more than 10, but those are the ones that just top of the mind I will remember forever. And Jared Jones's home run at 1:17 a.m. is one of them to beat Tennessee. So those were all great moments. All right, that's going to wrap it up. That was a long show. Sorry, guys. That's going to wrap it up. Y'all smash the like button. Please get subscribed if you have not already. Follow on social media. Be here next time for more on Musso at the Box, presented by Got Lit Light Installers.